Welcome everyone. I'm Anna, staff front-end engineer on the pipeline authoring team. Today we're working through a feature that pipeline authoring team just shipped in GitLab 18.9, the ability to define and read CI/CD pipeline inputs from external files. It's a small addition to the spec keyword with a large impact on how teams manage inputs across multiple pipelines or projects. A quick look at what this solves. When pipelines are parameterized with spec inputs, those input definitions live in line in each pipeline file individually. That works fine for one project, but when multiple pipelines share the same inputs, keeping them consistent means updating each file separately. There's no built-in way to reference a shared definition. For teams maintaining a lot of pipelines, that's just extra coordination work with room for things to drift out of sync over time. The new spec include keyword works similarly to the existing include that most GitLab CI users already know. Just scope to the spec block. You define your inputs in a separate YAML file, then reference it. The pipeline configuration itself doesn't change much. It just points elsewhere for the input definitions. 3 include types are supported. Local pulls from the same repository. It's useful for keeping inputs close to the pipeline. Remote fetches from any publicly accessible URL, which works well if input definitions are already managed somewhere external. Project references another GitLab project and supports pinning to a specific branch or tag with ref. This is useful for versioning and shared configs. Multiple includes can be combined, and they merge in the order they are listed. Inline inputs are always applied last. Different roles see different wins. Platform teams get a single source of truth, update one file, and every pipeline that references it picks up the change. Developers see consistent, well-documented options instead of having to reverse engineer what values are valid. And for large organizations, managing microservices or migrating from other CI systems, it's a step toward treating pipeline config like shared application code. Let's see this in action with a real example. In my setup, I have an external file base inputs YAML, which lives under the input source project. Here I have a single input environment. It can take one of 3 options, dev, staging, or production. I also have another inputs file, local inputs YAML, under the inputs from file project. It adds a region input with a set of options. And here is my pipeline configuration. It adds include keyword and uses both my base inputs YAML from another project and local inputs YAML from the current project. I also have an inline input defined here for app version. Let's create a new pipeline with this setup. You can see how all 3 inputs from different sources are presented for me. Here's the environment from another project, the region from the current project, and the inline app version. I'll update the values to see how it gets picked up by the pipeline. And let's preview the change. Looks good. Let's run a new pipeline. Here we can see that all 3 inputs are used correctly in the job. Give it a try. A good starting point is taking the inputs from a widely shared pipeline and moving them into a separate file. I'll leave some useful links in the video description so that you can check the implementation issue and documentation for more details. Thanks for watching.